I'm going to go ahead and just speak some truths, if you don't mind. Because my understanding, based on reports I'm getting from campaigns and communities, is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly and say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you.
They talking to it like we some kind of fucking animals. Went to college with you. Isn't she one of us? Isn't that what you guys were telling us? Isn't that why she's the fucking vice president? Because she's black? And you sound like she a goddamn tourist. Or an exchange student or some shit. She didn't go to college with you. She went to college with the people she claimed she grew up with and loved. And her mom, of course being Indian, raised her and her sister to be strong black women. However the fuck that happened, I don't know how that can happen. But this bullshit with Obama, he ain't in no position to tell us to do shit. When he had his opportunity to better our lives, he didn't. Now go sit the fuck down. And let us not vote for her. Because she's going to do no different for us than what you did. And everybody know it. And you out here trying to admonish somebody and say some shit. And them sorry ass motherfuckers is standing there behind you and not speaking up. Somebody need to be like, hold up, dude. Is she going to do for us what you did? You know what I'm saying? What did you do for us? Be standing up here like you got that kind of credibility. Hell no.
Understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences.
Yeah, being black, being poor. She just tells everybody her goddamn chance she get how middle class she was. Well, most of us weren't. And they're the joy and all that bullshit that you talking about. Nah, man. If she one of us, she know our struggle. She know our pain. She's seen her parents not have. If she's grew up like us, she didn't grow up like us. She isn't like us. And you need to knock that shit off because you ain't like us. We haven't gotten anything out of either one of you. And we ain't gonna. She done locked a whole bunch of people up who look like us. And what you've done is nothing. Just fucking like zero, for real. And then every time she's in peril with the black folks or any of them, Hillary, Biden, they trounce you out. And you're supposed to sway us with your strong words and reminders of all that you didn't do for us. Because that's all that make me remember is you didn't do shit for us. Who the fuck is you? They should have went and found somebody who we like. Oh, God, you'd have to go back to Jimmy Carter. And he is still alive, but I don't know if he'd be able to get up and speak. But he about the last Democratic president I can really tell you that I liked. And I was in the 6th grade, and I wrote a goddamn letter to the White House, and he answered it. So he's my favorite president. And I didn't understand racism and all that shit either. But these motherfuckers here, this new, what is it? What would you call it? Neo candidates. They look like you, but they worse for you than the motherfuckers that don't look like you. And this is not a Trump campaign. Let me tell you this. He's trying to make us continue to live with the brainwashing. We're not going to turn things around in this election, but we sure can in 2028. Why don't we test what a third-party vote would look like? Or not a vote at all. But let's just see out of Trump and Kamala, because there's some folks that's locked in on Trump and there's some folks that's locked in on Kamala. They're going to get the votes they're going to get. They know what we can do about that. But let's sit back for those of us, especially black men, and not vote for Kamala. And if you don't want it, don't vote for Jill Stein or Trump or nobody else either. But let's just hold our vote back from the Democrats. Let's see what percentage of the black vote, how low we could drag it. Because she's going to lose. She can get probably a really good percentage of the black vote. I think she's in the mid to high 70s now nationwide or some shit. But they don't like to break down her that the swing states with the black vote. You notice they be keeping the swing because it's a lot of black people in those swing states whose votes are going to be very important. That's why he's in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh must be on the line or something. And he out there talking to brothers in Pittsburgh like that. Instead of going in there and saying, man, come on, man. Kamala is like, for real, one of us. You know, when I was in, remember I did this and this and this for you guys? She gonna do the same thing, man. But she ain't got the support, and the country ain't, well, shit, let me take that back. The country, here we go again, huh? You know what? The country was in peril, and we were supposed to lose the democracy when we elected him. Is this just the same shit again? Do you guys remember that? Oh my God, the country's in peril. The financial crash. We're going to lose our rating. We're going to lose our country. Remember? China's going to collect on their debt. It was just like, fuck, man, everybody. And we voted for him. But black people was going to vote for him anyway because he looked like us. But for those of us who woke up and was like, apparently looking like you isn't enough. And here comes Kamala. She looks like us. But Kamala has been caught slipping on the mic too many times for us to be fooled by her. So she actually has to do what she said. Earn the black man vote. Sending Obama out to get a few black men who will listen without responding and let him speak to him for 5 minutes is not reaching out to the black men. It is not earning the black man's vote. You want to earn the black man's vote? You have to do something for him. People vote in this country for things. And if they just vote for you because you're going to save the democracy and block Project 2025, and what if they just hold out and sit back on their sofa and watch the results come in that night and you lose and they didn't vote for you, and it shows that nationwide Kamala Harris got 57% of the African American vote. Then you guys have to make up your mind. Are you going to bring in another 20 or 30 million illegal immigrants to take over them African American votes that you may have lost forever? Or are you going to do something for black people and get the vote back the right way? Just do something for them. That doesn't seem like that's unreasonable. But the racism in this country won't allow you. Because this is the country that you stood up many times and said is not fundamentally racist. It ain't. That's what you said, Kamala. And if it ain't fundamentally racist, then how come doing something for black people that only benefits black people to close the wealth gap is racist? It's racist because it offends and makes some people in the country uncomfortable. And if you are okay with that, and you're not willing to get out there and in your campaign let them know, I'm going to bring this country together, but I'm not going to bring it together by neglecting black people. And they got 35 million registered voters who can vote for me. But you know what else really kills me? Is that they'd have so many more registered votes if they didn't keep locking us up. Look how many black men in California are ineligible to vote because of Kamala Harris. Can't vote. Because they got some criminal conviction that when she was the attorney general, they got. And you can say whatever you want. People, well, they shouldn't be breaking the law. Well, they shouldn't have did a crime. Well, they should. If you believe in your heart that 8% of a population can fill up 40% of that population's prisons, then go ahead and believe. And nothing I can tell you. But there's a flaw there. There's a reason why that demographic is filling up the prisons like crazy. Like nobody else. It's 14% of us total. And the amount of black women going to prison is a lot, but it is not that number it's not that number that we, us black men, are making up. And then he's standing in the center of a room. You didn't do anything to reverse the crime bill. I think by the time you were running, everybody had come to their senses and realized the crime bill was a horrible thing and it never should have happened. And remember? And then you turn around and pick Joe Biden as your running mate. The man who was on the Senate floor ranting and raving about calling us all kind of names and speaking to us on the Senate floor the way he did. And then you get an opportunity to pick a VP, and that's who you pick. And then you knew the country was going to be uncomfortable with reparations. And that's what you went. You did a Kamala on us. Oh, the wind's blowing that way. I can't, no reparations, because the country just don't feel comfortable. And you got nerve to stand up and say, I wish I would have been in that room. You wouldn't have been speaking without a response. And then black women, they sitting over there nodding in agreement. Yeah, we are, but like Frankie Beverly said, we are one. Black men and black women, we are one. When y'all get off of this, I wish I could play it on here without getting sued. We are one. Play that in your head, sing it. Don't be letting them separate them. Obama ain't doing nothing for black women or black men. And then they talk about, well, why don't we have the support of the black men like they had when I ran? You should be saying you want to support of black women or black men like they did when you ran. Because the black women also have decided not to vote for you this time. And I don't care who you vote for. Vote for whoever you want. But don't vote for Kamala Harris because she looked like us. That's not the reason to vote for her. Vote for her because she's going to do something for us. And don't say, what is Trump going to do for us? Because the answer is nothing. Absolutely nothing. But we've survived a Trump presidency. And I don't know if we can survive a Kamala one as black people. Because we didn't address reparations in either one of Obama's terms. Either one of them. That's 8 years. And then Hillary didn't hold up her end of the bargain and win. So Trump came in with another 4 years. That's 12 years of nothing for black people. Then Biden won. And Biden was the only one who thought about us. He thought about black people, and he's the white one. And our reparations from Biden was Kamala. He said, I'll give you a black VP, female. He said that in words. And then he gave us a southeastern, I don't even know what Kamala is, but you know what he gave us. And she's not African American. She is not a descendant of slaves in this country, but you would think she was, because she can recite any part of our history as if it was her own. And then in the next breath say, oh, no, it's no need to do anything about that. We're going to be fair to everybody. So what? There's a big old wealth gap between blacks and white. That's okay. That's all right. You guys are used to being poor and stepped on. That's what he's saying. Shh. And don't whine. Oh, no. If something is burdening you and it's heavy weights on your back, don't you whine. You just... What do they think? Who do they think they talking to? These people are not like us, you guys. They really not. We got to be careful. Obama
who's had to work harder and do more and overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land and is putting forward concrete proposals to directly address the things that are vital in our neighborhoods and our communities.
She is not addressing reparations, and neither did he. And if they don't want to call it reparations, call it something else, but it absolutely has to be something that's going to close the wealth gap between blacks and whites. That's just all it is to it. And everyone else in America is going to get pissed because you are dead set on miseducating the country in public school systems. But then when the country don't understand, why should they get anything? Why should them black people get anything? What in the hell? Are you crazy? We just came out of our history class and they should be happy to be here. You know, tell them what history's teaching these kids these days. I wish I'd have stole some of them damn history books from back when I was in school. I have a few books that I didn't steal. I just didn't get to turn them in. And so many years have gone by. I wouldn't know how to go about it. But the history books used to have Indians and bows in their paintings, and the black people have like collars on them. I was like, whoa. I would like to, but the story behind it really wasn't that brutal. It just kind of sounded like a job. Only when you went, they put handcuffs and stuff on you, and then you got like at the end of the day, you get to go home, and then you come back at No, it wasn't like that. But that's the way it made it seem in school. Like it wasn't that bad. And then Roots came on. I remember in the mid-70s, and I was in the 6th grade, and that's when I was like, oh shit. I was like, this shit is serious. And Roots didn't even get graphic. If it had been cable TV around like during that, because I think Roots came on CBS or ABC. It was a major network, and shit, they couldn't do that shit now on cable TV or something because it would be graphic. They could show the rapes. You know what I'm saying? They could show them, but the molestings. They could show the medical doctors during those times because they had them experimenting on slaves. You know what I'm saying? They could show all that stuff. But he, with all that knowledge, that what we've been through, is going to stand there in a room full of black men and a couple of black women and not even be challenged and not be questioned and speak as if he grew our position in this country by leaps and bounds. One person being the first black anything is never going to help us. And like Kamala's going around saying, my mom said, don't be the first to do anything. Just make sure you're not the last or some bullshit. That's some bullshit. And once he's out of there, you think he really care if another black man win? And that what do you do? Just come out and do that. And if the other black man is a Republican, would he campaign for him? Hey, you know what? I got to put my race over this politics. No. And I'm telling you, the Black Caucus and all them, they need to be Republicans and Democrats. It just makes no sense at all. That means we're completely playing into this system to the point where we're putting a political system above our race. I know, that's some dumb shit. Brain dead. And it's brain dead as hell to let this man stand in front of us after electing him twice, back to back, lame duck session of the second term, start doing executive orders, and we thought Hillary was coming in behind you, so your executive orders would have really been able to have an impact. Psh, please. You guys, man, how long do you think we're going to fall for this? Kamala has walked through our universities and grew up like us and all that bullshit. Well, she shouldn't have had to grow up like us. She should have grew up one of us, and that would probably be the difference, but she didn't. She grew up like us in her mind. We don't wash greens in bathtubs. We don't do that shit. That's not us. I don't know where that came from. She taking greens to a goddamn Christmas party and she washed in the bathtub, and they telling her, "Oh, Kamala, your greens are the best," because they like the fucking taste of skin flakes and fecal matter and shit.
From housing to making sure that our mothers and our fathers and our grandparents can afford medicine, and making sure that we are dealing with prices that are too high and rents that are too high.
All this shit they did. Biden and them made all this shit high, and if they didn't, they should have had time to get it down low by now. And he's sitting up here talking about our older people can afford medication. You know what? Why don't you let us afford our medication by our own way? Let us make our own way. How many small businesses started popping up in black communities when Obama was president? Do you guys remember? Did you walk there and go, wow, a black cleaners, whoa, a black ice cream shop, ooh, a black donut shop, ooh, a black taco stand? Nah, not at all. We ain't encouraged to start businesses. They ain't trying to make that happen. And that's what we were. We were entrepreneurs when we were released from slavery. And they messed that up. And then he gonna come and ask for our vote? Many times as we gotten up and been knocked down. The last time we were knocked down was when they killed Martin Luther King. And it's time for us to get up again, you guys. Right before he was murdered, we got these voting rights that we've done nothing with. It's time for us to get back up again. It really is. And he just gives me more energy to get up and do something and not just let him come talk to black men like that. And I wish I was in a swing state. Maybe I would have been fortunate enough, but I'm in California and we really need to do something. We almost had reparations. We was this close. Thanks, Kamala, by the way, for blocking our reparations in California. For y'all don't know, We's about to be well off. We just got to get hooked up. Thanks, Kamala. We appreciate it. I'm sure Obama has something to do with it too. Thanks.
And are committed to making sure that we maintain the Affordable Care Act. So everybody's got help.
See, worried about his shit. Everybody's got health care. Everybody's got health care. You already see it? We got to make sure everybody's got it. The Affordable Health Care Act. I'm going to tell you something. Because of the experiments that they've done on us, because of the lack of medication, the early deaths, the preventable deaths, the prenatal deaths, the abortions, any death that has come to a black person could have been prevented with economics, with the economic opportunity, and not this economic economy that Kamala Harris is talking about. I mean a real economic opportunity that is generational. And that would have had to have been done way back when, and it wasn't. And look at us floundering now as a result of it. And you guys are okay with it. And Obama is okay. He was our president twice, and he looks at the statistics. That's what fucking presidents do. And it don't bother him to see us floundering like this. It don't bother him at all, and it don't bother his friend Kamala. That's why I wish that her numbers could drop to 15%.
Cares about things like education and entrepreneurship in our neighborhoods. And that's on one side. And on the other side, you have someone who has...
He talking about entrepreneurship in our neighborhoods. Out of the last 16 years, 12 of them have been Democrat. Where are the businesses in the small communities? There ain't none. There ain't none. We see black girls working in Korean wig shops. We see little Hispanic girls working in the swap meets, folding jeans and khakis and shit and t-shirts. Well, what in the hell is going on? Do you think we don't see? We live there, bro. We know.
Consistently shown disregard, not just for the communities, but for you as a person.
Wow. He's just saying that Trump is just basically straight out directly racist toward us. Which is true. It's true as fuck. But what does that say about a person who is aware that a person is this far away from winning the White House? Because Trump is, and he probably will beat Kamala. And you guys haven't addressed race once. All you can tell us now is that he don't like us. And that he probably, if you had us off camera, be saying, I bet he says the N word and Trump is this and Trump is that. And I get it. But with that knowledge, and with Kamala having that same knowledge, and you guys understanding what we go through here in this country, way down at the bottom, if you can speak on it on that level, then I know you're aware we're being stood on top of, underneath all this, and no one on the Democratic side ever addresses it, and they want us all to have the equal same chance, no matter where we are. And the Republicans are the bad guys who are after us. They're out to get us. I don't know, man. After all that time under Obama, and then when Trump won, I felt a relief, and that was weird. I was like, God, for one time, I feel like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was still a whole bunch of racism going on, but it was directed at, like, I think Middle Eastern people, Muslims, and Mexicans for sure. He was tripping. Trump was like racist, but it was just really weird because now I know what they must feel like sometime when they're looking at a black man get choked out next to a police car or, run in a building and they send 2 or 3 of them dogs in and drink some water and take their time going in to get the fucking animal back. That kind of shit. So I do understand what other races feel like every day. Because they know they feel like they're not the most hated. So for a moment, I got to feel that. I was like, wow, they don't hate it. And then reality set back in. It never went away. It is a certain amount of, being acclimated to it. So you kind of don't feel that, it ain't like, trust me. This man knows, but he doesn't know like we know. Obviously, or he wouldn't be standing in the center of that room like that. Somebody get up and be like, Obama, what are you talking about? Somebody should be able to stand up and come forward with some opposition on this. You can't just sit here and let this dude just sit here and talk to you like that without nothing. Something got to go back.
and you're thinking about sitting out? I'm not. But, you know, Cousin Pookie might be.
Yeah, that right there ain't cool. That's what I'm saying. The Cousin Pookie jokes, he need to knock that off. You're in a room full of black people and black men especially. And you just think it's clowning and joking to say the Cousin Pookie joke. Cousin Pookie is a person who the nickname and the title and the jokes and the memes and anything else is kind of like a crackhead, you know, from the neighborhood. Cousin Pookie or whatever you want to say. And crack and speaking on it like that in a joking way to you probably ain't funny. You're talking about somebody whose lives were destroyed, the Pookies, and if they're eligible to vote. Most people in that situation don't vote, or you probably already took their right to vote. But if you didn't, and all he can do is vote, and he don't follow politics, and he don't do anything in the community to be aware of any of that kind of stuff, you're just reducing yourself to ass for the man in front of you. If you'd have said that shit to me, I know I would have had a different response. You wouldn't have been playing with it. I'd have been like, I ain't got no motherfucking cousin named Pookie. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no fucking cousin named Pookie. Oh no, I was just, well, don't do that shit then. You're not going to just come down here and degrade us. And we voted you in office twice and you ain't do shit for us, and then you coming back and asking for more. You crazy? Kamala is. I know that. And all of them are. You think, please.
And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses.
I got one. You didn't do nothing for us, and she ain't gonna do nothing for us. Well, how you know she ain't gonna do nothing for us? Because we ain't on her agenda.
I've got a problem with that. Because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly now, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president.
No. We're American men. We have the same goddamn culture you got, and you got the same one we got. Many of us grew up in homes with just a woman. We don't look at women as weak, and we don't look at women as stupid, and we don't look at women as incapable. No black men do. That's not the reason. The reason is because you didn't do shit for us and you fucked it up for her. And now she has to run 2 or 3 laps where you only had to run half a lap. She's got to really get out there and work harder, and she hasn't been doing it. So that's the real reason. It's you, Mr. Obama, it's you.
And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. And I think anybody you are talking to in a barbershop, anybody you are talking to in your house, in your family, at church, who is coming with that kind of attitude, I think you have to ask them, well, how can that be? Because the women in our lives have been getting our backs this entire time. They've been raising us and working and having our backs. And when we get in trouble and the system's not working for us, they're the ones who are out there marching and protesting.
What is he talking about? Is he trying to make us feel like Kamala Harris is like some motherly type strong black woman figure to us? Because I don't look at Kamala Harris as a strong black woman. Kamala Harris don't talk about being black in the way black people need to be talking about black, especially if you're going in them kind of offices, because this country is so fundamentally racist that you can't even campaign properly. You can't go, and that's my point. Really, I'm just trying to make the woman drop out, because that's what would happen. Anybody black who goes and runs for the presidency of the night have to ignore us. And they have to know you're going to ignore us. They know you're not fucking around just in this campaign. They have to know once you win, if you win, no changing up. And Obama showed them it can be done. You can get all them goddamn votes, 95% of it, and not do a thing for them. And then he out here asking for more. Please.
And so now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody
Jill Stein.
who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's a sign of strength, because that's what being a man is, putting women down? That's not acceptable. That's not it. This shouldn't even be a question.
And he's absolutely right. It shouldn't be a question. It should have been taken care of during his presidency. He should have been such of a good black president to black people that there's no question. If you are the first black goddamn president and everybody that follows you on the Democratic side, the votes are going less and less, and then another black person comes along and she's getting less than the two white Democrats before her. Because of you. Because you proved to us that we got to watch it. And there is a portion of this that's never going to come back. And there's a portion of this black vote that is never going to leave. So with that, being said, there are some of us in the middle who are fluid. I have never in my life not been a Democrat. I'm independent now. I could vote for Jill Stein, which I probably end up doing. It makes more sense to me. She can get on stage and be asked about reparations and answer intelligently and with a plan. And her numbers are more in line with mine. I've heard people say how much they owe us, and the numbers are big no matter what. They could really just start paying us and then we can figure it out later and get back to them. But Jill Stein is talking between 10 and 13 trillion dollars. And that's about what I think. Because when we were released from slavery, there was no deficit. There was nobody owed nothing to nobody. It was just, the United States was like straight. And then they started having to borrow because they wasn't getting all this labor and shit free. You know what I'm saying? Things start costing more. When the motherfuckers out there picking the cotton, they ain't doing it for free. And like I'm saying, whatever the deficit is, just put another 10 to 13 million on it, and it is what it is. It's your debt. And you don't get to pick when you pay it. You should have paid it back then and it wouldn't be 10 to 13 trillion. But adjust it for today's times. And it's going to just piss off the whole country because this country is fundamentally racist. Foreign people come over in this country who are racist against us. And we are Americans by naturalized citizens. I know we're not natural citizens. Yeah, we're born here. Fuck. That's what I'm saying. I don't feel like I have no special benefit of being an American. People come here in 3 years on the business. Now, don't get me wrong. I ain't never wanted to open up a taco shop or whatever, or a nail shop or those type of businesses or whatever. But it just seems effortless. But I mean, the way they live, the houses, the real estate they find, the home ownerships. I just don't feel that a lot of the minorities and newly arrivals into the country are met with resistance. They're met with helping hands. And that's a big difference. I think that's what our problem has been. I mean, I just feel like if we were to start a movement and be as positive as we could be, just to get the word out to everybody that, hey, don't forget about us over here. This wealth gap is huge and it's killing us. We got to start over every generation instead of having something to build on. Do you guys ever meet some of your friends who have like parents who may have died or grandparents who may have died and no one's lived in grandma's house since she died? It's just sitting there with the taxes being paid and just accumulating so much equity. You know what I'm saying? And that's just sitting there. Nobody living in it. Everybody else in the family straight, or whatever. It's like, that's what we want. We want that kind of us. When you go down south and you drive through the south, you see the homes and the property and the spaces. You're like, God damn. I would have took 40 acres and they could have kept the meal. Shit, fuck that. Give me 40. Oh my God, it's so beautiful out there. And just to have land. Anyway, guys, I just got a little nostalgic there, but I just really think that Obama need to shut the fuck up. You know, I mean, he ain't in a position to be trying to direct black men to do shit. He ain't. He ain't even like us, and he trying to vouch for her. It's like she ain't like us either. Both of y'all together ain't even like us. The fuck? And you really think that we're supposed to listen to you? And because these mild-mannered men that you found, and out of respect, is chilling like that. And brother in the orange pants there with the glasses on, though, he looked like a little radical. He looked like he might have some militancy in him. But I mean, you being respectful to the former president, and I understand that too. But I think because of my age, and Obama's a little older than me, but not that goddamn much. And I'd have been in my 30s, I'd have said some shit. And I probably would have regretted it. But I would have still said some shit. Sometimes you just have to, you know, you just got to say what you got to say. Fuck up. I mean, because he up there doing what he want to do. That is completely inappropriate. And they trying to hide it. This is some backstage shit. Then he get out there in front of the real crowd and speak different. This is DJ, hey, and you guys. He know this is circulating in the black media, and people going to be looking at it with their head down, and people going to be looking at this shit, talking about, what's wrong with you? We need to support her when she's not going to do anything for us. That's the problem. And I don't care if Trump ain't going to do nothing for us either. Trump ain't up there impersonating a black person. She is. I got a problem with that. Anyway, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next Black Popcorn.